So good to see you guys. It's nice and actually seeing people. Hi. Also maybe in the chat, see if, hey y'all. Oh my gosh, so good to see you guys. I get so excited. Like where you guys are and everything, your nurses, thinking about CRNA school, just what you're doing. Amanda, what's up? So funny. This is the second one I'm doing today since I don't know how to tell people the correct time zone time. So graduating senior, pick you. Cool, Portland. Oh my gosh, how are you doing, Caitlin? Sheesh. ASN, Knoxville, last semester. Woo, woo. Last block of nursing school. All right, let me get here started in a few moments. Make UCCU from, okay, nice. It's kind of chilly in my house. Nice. As you guys can see, I'm coming to you live from the tiny home. All right, so my path. I earned a BSN from Virginia Commonwealth University, VCU. I earned a 3.44 GPA. A lot of people talk about you needing a 4.0, and I am here to tell you that is just not true. I got into two top schools, VCU and Duke, with a 3.44, one of which I didn't even have a CCRN yet, so it's doable. I had two minors. I graduated with a psych minor and a mass comm minor. I graduated in 2013. Some of the extras, I was a D1 athlete. I had an internship at the Veterans Affairs Hospital in Richmond, Virginia, and I did the Valor program through that, and that stands for Veterans Affairs Learning Opportunity Residency. It was paid, and for those of you who do not know, Veterans Affairs hospitals pay very good money. I think I was making $21 as a nursing, for my internship. So definitely check that out. Not a lot of people know about it, and I think it really padded my resume. I also worked at Nordstrom. I was a CNA for about a day a week from 7 p.m. to 9 or 11 p.m. after practice and all that. And then I also was a TA for one of my courses. So I mentioned earlier, kind of making sure you're showing your resume tells a story if you create it properly. If you wait till the end, a lot of times people get kind of frantic. And that's not to say that you can't make your resume tell a story later on. But if some of you guys are in here kind of starting in nursing school, you can start now and just kind of tell a story with what you've been doing, the time that you've spent, and kind of show that you've been thinking about this. All right. Let's see here. I'm adding participants kind of at the same time. So if I kind of look distracted, that's why. There we go. So my experience, I worked at Centura Norfolk General. I started on the vascular ICU step down. I worked there for 6 months. And then at the same time, I was actively looking for an IC position because I didn't feel like waiting. I didn't want to be the new grad that had to have an IC position because I wanted to get paid. And so while I was working 6 months, I was always looking for an IC position, and one popped up in the CVICU. I got lucky. And so I worked there for about 8.5, 9 months by the time I started applying to CRNA school and applying to the HPSB Air Force Scholarship that I'll talk about in a little bit. And then so by the time I started CRNA school, I had about 1.5 to 2 years total of ICU experience. And then I have my over here degree in community. This might be the old one, but we'll just skip this and keep going. All right, tuition. Ranges. It depends on the school that you go to. And a lot of different things are included in a tuition that you should really, really think about prior to accepting or applying to a school. So my first year of tuition was $100,000 at Duke University. I know. Don't choke on your food or your water. It was expensive. Hence, another choice for me to go into the Air Force. Wasn't the only reason, but one of the reasons. I know people who went to school for as low as $30,000. That just wasn't me. And there's also schools that are way more expensive. I think some of my classmates ended up having a total bill of like $250,000. So it varies. So that's something that you can put on your, your requirements list. Now, as part of your tuition, a lot of people kind of get confused as to how you can stop working and why people stop working. In your award package of your student loans, some people save up, also, it wasn't me. In your student loan package, they budget out a certain amount of money for your living and food expenses and your books that you have to make work for your budget. So for some, that's not enough. Maybe you need a roommate, or that's just not enough school for you. It depends on, there's a lot of different things that come into play with how much they allot, but it is allotted. Also, when you are choosing a school, there may be such a thing as away clinicals. I had away clinical sites. We had a lot of clinical sites, which I actually liked, but some schools do not cover that in your tuition. My school did. Some schools require you to pay out of pocket for hotels or Airbnbs. So again, that's something that you could ask in your interview, or you ask people who go to that school that you're interested in. Again, doing some of that digging research on your own. Other scholarships, you can search online. There's Veterans Affairs Scholarship. There's HPSP, which is what I did through the military, specifically the Air Force. And then just different ones that you can apply to online. And then I really want to cover the loan forgiveness. So if you have a public or federally funded student loan, there's something that's called a public service loan forgiveness program. And there's different ways and different things that you have to do and requirements, such as like filling out a form and making sure that the job where you are working satisfies certain requirements. And so after about 120 payments or 10 years of payments consecutively, you can apply to have your student loans forgiven. So I like to touch on that just because some people kind of get frightened at the tuition cost. And that leads me into my next point, ROI, or return on investment. I look at myself as a business. And when I invested time into myself, time and money, what comes after it, the goose egg after it, is my return. So having a CRNA degree and making a certain salary was my return that I'm able to easily pay off my investment and then some. So for me, CRNA school was a no-brainer as far as your ROI. All right, get into the bag, the money, right? I get a lot of questions about the salary that I make, and it's different and it varies from state to state, just like nursing salaries.